And in the regular chat itself, one student asked me a question. That is, can we call seroral polygyny as serial polygyny? One question I got is, can we call seroral polygyny as serial polygyny? So let me ask that question to you only. Okay. So you people tell me, can we call seroral polygyny as a serial polygyny? Okay, let me put the question clearly. Seroral, listen to my statement. I will give you a poll. Okay, you did not message. Wait, stop. Okay, so my statement is seroral polygyny is one form of serial polygyny. True or false? Participate in this poll. Seroral polygyny is one form of serial polygyny. Yes. So seroral polygyny, true. The statement is correct. Seroral polygyny is one form of serial polygyny. Okay, but in the serial polygyny, there is no rule that the second wife should be the sister of the first wife. Okay, they can go for non-seroral serial polygyny also. Once the wife dies, they may marry a woman who is not related to the first wife. Okay, so like all serial polygyny is not seroral polygyny, but all seroral polygyny. That too, like in seroral, one more point you have to remember. Okay, there are no two separate words like levirate, fraternal. Okay, we use the word seroral when both the wives are like when he is married to both the sisters at a time or one after the other. Okay, so if you are assuming that seroral word for marrying the sister after the wife dies, then it comes to serial polygyny. Okay, if he is marrying both the sisters at a time, then it is not serial polygyny. I repeat, seroral word is commonly used for marrying the sister of the wife if the wife dies, or marrying both the sisters at a time. For both the cases, we are using a single word called seroral polygyny. So therefore, if you are considering the case that he married the wife's sister after the first wife died, then it is serial polygyny. Otherwise, it is not serial polygyny. Okay, so I hope the concept is clear. Then okay, fine. So let us now continue with today's topic. In the previous class, we completed the classification. Okay, so in the previous class, we completed the classification based on consanguineous, non-consanguineous, and based on the number of spouses. Okay, now let us see one more classification that is based on social groups. Okay, so let me give you one content here. So based on social groups, marriage can be endogamy, exogamy. Okay, keep using the words in your mind. Marriage can be two types: endogamy, exogamy. Endogamy means what? Endo means inside. So marrying within the community. Okay, if somebody marries within the community, remember this point carefully. Within the community or within the group. If somebody marries within the group, then it is called endogamy. Outside the group, then it is called as exogamy. Okay, so first be clear about these two words: endogamy, exogamy. Based on the social group, the marriages are two types: endogamy and exogamy. Endogamy means within the group. Exogamy means outside the group. Okay. Now, endogamy is within the group. Okay. Depending on what is the group, you can have a few types of endogamy. Okay. I will ask you a question. You can message your answer. If a couple gets married within the same caste, look at here, within the same caste, means here the group is caste. Endogamy, okay. Give more specific name. What endogamy? The group is caste. They are marrying within the group. Therefore, it is endogamy. That group is caste. Therefore, it is called as caste endogamy. No, intercaste means what? Marrying with another caste. Okay. The word here is caste endogamy. Okay. Inter means what? Between the castes. But here, what am I asking you is, let me write more clearly. Endogamy means what? Within the group. Now, depending on what is the group, we can have a few types of endogamy. If the group is caste, okay, then we call this as caste endogamy. They married within the caste. Is it clear? Okay. Then, now, let us suppose, like two people got married, or a person married to another person belonging to the other caste. Let us suppose a Brahmin caste person married a Sudra community girl. Okay, intercaste only, caste exogamy. Very good. Intercaste marriage is a regular word that we use, so it is caste exogamy. Understood? Very good. Thank you. But now listen to the question. I want you to answer. Okay, so he married with another caste. A Brahmin married a Sudra, but both are. Listen to the question carefully. Both are Hindus only. So it is caste exogamy, but complete my statement. It is caste exogamy, but religion endogamy. Very good. Caste exogamy, but religion endogamy. Very good. Okay. So the same marriage can be exogamy plus endogamy both. With respect to caste, it is exogamy. With respect to religion, it is endogamy. Understood? So there is no marriage which is absolutely endogamy or absolutely exogamy. The same marriage is endogamy with respect to one factor and exogamy with respect to the other factor. Okay. Same way, we have other concepts like lineage. Okay. What is lineage? Don't ask me more doubts about what is a lineage, because actually that comes in another chapter called kinship. But here I have to use the word, and it is my habit to explain every word that I use. I can't help it. Okay. So I will briefly tell you what is lineage. Okay. Lineage means what? Let us suppose if we have two generations people, like children and parents. Listen carefully, children and parents. We call that as nuclear family. Okay. Then children, parents, grandparents. Then up to here we call it as joint family, isn't it? If great grandparent is also included, or their parents also included. Their parents also included means what? Around 4 to 5 generations together people. People of 4 to 5 generations together can be called as a lineage. Lineage is larger than a joint family, but same concept, but larger than joint family. More accurately, what is a lineage? I will teach you only in the kinship chapter. Okay. Then after lineage, another word comes, that is clan. Clan. Okay. So for clan, I'll tell you some Indian words. Did you hear the word Gotra? Exactly. Okay. Ojasvi Chauhan is messaging. Okay. So Gotra. Okay. So Gotra is an Indian word for clan. Same way, you also might have heard the word Vansh, like Nagavansh, Chandravansh, Suryavansh. Is it clear? Okay. So Vansh is also an Indian word for clan. So in a Gotra or a Vansh, you will have more generations of people than lineage. So clan is larger than lineage. Clear for all of you? Clan is larger than lineage. Okay. So answer this question. Respond to this poll, true or false. Clan is larger than lineage. Yes. Okay. But same concept. Okay, so I hope you are understanding. So nuclear family, larger unit is joint family, even larger unit is a lineage, much more larger unit is a clan. But all these are family groups only. Okay, they all have biological relation with each other. Okay, they will become brothers. They'll become brothers and sisters. Okay, so now, okay, beyond the clan, we have another word. Okay, we have seen the words lineage, clan. Now I'm giving you one more word, fratry. Fratry. Okay, actually these words should be taught in kinship chapter, but here we are using the words, so I just thought I will introduce the words. Fratry. The Indian word for this is Bhratra Samoha, means what? A group of brothers. Bhratra Samoha means a group of brothers. Okay, fratry. You know, fraternal is something related to brother. Okay, so fratry is also a descent group only. Descent group means what? A group of descendants or a group of people having a common ancestor. Okay, for example, all your cousins having a common grandfather will become a joint family, isn't it? All your cousins having a common grandfather will belong to the same joint family. Same way, all your cousins, second cousins, third cousins having a common ancestor 5-6 generations back will be called as a lineage. Same way, all your cousins, second, third, fourth, fifth cousins. Brother relation, but you do not even know that how he became a brother to you. Okay, so very long distance relation, but on the whole, he will become brother if you trace the relation, search all the relations. Then, like a large group of people, listen to this statement carefully. A large group of people having a common ancestor many generations back, several generations back. That is called as a fratry. Fratry is larger than clan. Fratry is larger than clan. Okay, so or what we can say is 2-3 clans. Okay, 2-3 clans who believe that they have a common ancestor. 2-3 clans who believe that they have a common ancestor. And why am I using the word believe here? Because, for example, if you say Kashyapa Gotra, okay, so if you belong to some Kashyapa Gotra or if you belong to some Vyasa Gotra, have you met with Vyasa anytime? If you belong to Vyasa Gotra, have you at least met with him once, or like, do you have any photographs of him or any written records, direct evidence that he lived in the past? We only believe that Kashyapa lived in the past. Is it clear? Means what it is believe. We are believing that he is our ancestor, but there is no direct evidence that he is our ancestor, isn't it? Okay, so few clans who believe that they have a common ancestor can be called as a fratry. I repeat, a few clans who believe that they have a common ancestor can be called as fratry. Okay, so now look at here, nuclear family, joint family, lineage, clan, fratry, all these can be called as descent groups, okay, and keep using the words in your mind. Okay, you really say it out, descent groups. Okay, descent group means what? A group of descendants, isn't it? A group of descendants, okay, or a group of people who have a common ancestor. Okay, a group of people having a common ancestor or a group of descendants. For example, in the nuclear family, if there are 2 brothers, both the brothers have a common parent. In a joint family, a large group of cousins will have a common grandparent. In a lineage, even larger group of cousins will have a like great grandfather or his father. Okay, so all these are called as descent groups, right? And almost all descent groups are exogamous. Okay, check this statement properly. All descent groups are exogamous. Respond to this poll. Okay, all descent groups are exogamous. All descent groups are exogamous. Okay, 66% correct. Okay, so the right answer is true. Yes, all descent groups are exogamous. Now, what do you mean by exogamous? Okay, exogamous means what? Should marry outside the group. Should marry outside the group, or cannot marry inside the group. Okay, should marry outside the group. Exogamous unit. Okay, exogamous unit. Use the word once and remember it. Exogamous unit. Okay, means what? A group of people who cannot marry within that group. They have to marry outside that group only. Such a group of people is called as an exogamous unit. Okay, so nuclear family is an exogamous unit. Okay, one cannot marry their biological brother. Same way, joint family is also an exogamous unit. Lineage, clan, fratry. Fratry means what? Bhratra Samoha is it. Okay, and okay, I'll tell you a common observation. If you did not observe it till now, ask your mother, she will tell you. Okay, so will the people marry within the same gotra traditionally? Okay, like when you break the rule, anything is possible. If you do not break the rule traditionally, okay, so can we marry within the gotra? No, right? Very good, very good. You know so much. You need not talk to your mother. Okay, so like gotra, like people should not marry within the same gotra. Sa gotra marriages are prohibited. Means what? Gotra is an exogamous unit. Okay, lineage endogamy prohibited. Lineage endogamy means what? Marrying within the lineage, prohibited, not permitted, socially not permitted. But of course, it's not illegal, but socially not permitted. Okay. Fratry is also exogamous unit. Exogamous unit, use the word in your mind and say it that. Exogamous unit means the people in that unit should marry outside only and cannot marry inside. That is called as exogamous unit. All descent groups are exogamous units. Okay, most of you said right answer. Okay, one more question. One more statement, respond to the poll, true or false. Caste is an endogamous unit. True or false? Caste is an endogamous unit. Traditionally, I'm asking traditionally. You can go for intercaste marriage, no problem. Especially I don't have any problem. Your mother may have, but I don't have any problem. Okay, so traditionally, caste is an endogamous unit. Look at here. Caste is endogamous unit. Okay, means what? One should marry within the caste, or intercaste marriages are not permitted, are socially not permitted. Okay, so this is the meaning of the statement. Caste is an endogamous unit. Okay, now I'll repeat what all I taught now, and one more small instruction for you all. Okay, so like if you do not understand my class, the only reason can be your concentration diverted in between. Just make sure that you listen to every word, every sentence. Then I'm 100% guarantee you will understand whatever I teach. Okay, so just in between, if some links are missed, then you will miss the whole concept. Okay, then so complete concentration, all of you, and make sure that you understand all the points. Fine. So basically, based on this, based on social group, the marriages can be basically two types: endogamy, exogamy. Okay, and within endogamy, you can have caste endogamy, religion endogamy. Okay, like that. Then exogamy. In exogamy also you have types like, say for example, clan exogamy, caste exogamy. Intercaste marriage is a caste exogamy, but religion endogamy. But you can also go for religion exogamy. Okay, that is like you can marry a Muslim or a Christian, or if you are a Christian, you can marry a Hindu or a Muslim. I don't have any problem. Okay, so that is what is exogamy, endogamy, right? Then next one, based on social status. If that is clear, then let us come to the last classification, based on social status. Okay, caste is not based on the status, but caste gives you a status. Okay, the caste demarcation was not originally made on the basis of the status, but of course today in the present scenario, the caste gives us a social status. Okay, so now the last classification based on social status. Gotra means surname, not exactly. Okay, but some people I observed keep their Gotra also as surname. In some cases both can match, but not essentially. Surname, some people will have the surname of the village, some people will have, like regionally there are so many differences. Okay, so Gotra is associated with sage in Hindu in general. Yes, most of the Gotras are named after some sages. In Hinduism, most of the Gotras are named after some sages. Okay. Caste is based on occupation. Yes, caste is based on occupation. And I don't have any plans of giving the complete PDF at a time. I will not give that. Please don't ask. Okay, because like there should be more dependence on the class. Okay, main factor should not be the notes. So that is what I feel. And I want you to think freshly in the class. I don't even want you to come prepared. There is nothing you have to come prepared and then like you'll come here. No, like you can like just come as a white sheet. You can understand everything. So I don't absolutely have any plans of giving the total PDF at a time. In consanguineous marriage, uncle niece type only maternal uncle, paternal uncle. No, paternal uncle is considered as father in patriarchy. In patriarchy, paternal uncle, that is father's brother, is considered as important as father. So almost in any society, there is no marriage with paternal uncle. Okay, so in uncle niece marriage, it is maternal uncle only. Moreover, niece means for mother's brother only she will become the niece. For father's brother, she will become the daughter. Okay, according in the patriarchal system. Then one more question: why we study only about tribes in regards to anthropology? Okay, yes, good question. Why we study more about tribes in anthropology? I modified his question. Okay, Sandeep Patil asked me this question. He asked me why in anthropology we study only about tribals. We don't study only about tribals. So I modified it. Why we study mostly about tribals? Why tribals are so important in anthropology? Because anthropology is about our roots. If you have attended the first class of this course on February 19th, I told you we study the evolution of everything: evolution of marriage, evolution of family, evolution of religion, evolution of man as an organism. Okay, means our main focus point in anthropology is about our roots. We don't have time machines. We cannot fly into our past and see how we lived a few thousands or lakhs of years back. So tribals represent our past. Tribals represent our past. Means at one point of time, man lived like the Sentinelese are living today. At one point of time, every man lived the way the Sentinelese tribes are living today. Okay, how do we know how we lived 1 lakh years ago? How we lived some 60-70,000 years back? We don't know. We don't have time machines. So if we observe the primitive tribal groups, we can understand about our past, our roots. Okay, so that is the reason why tribal anthropology is very important. Tribals are very important. Interreligious marriage is only exogamy, but it can be race endogamy. Okay, you're not marrying a Negro or Caucasoid. Okay, it can be race endogamy. Okay, but see, no statement is absolute. Then you may ask me the next question. Then race exogamy is definitely exogamy, no? Yes, no statement is absolutely valid. Okay, so if you extrapolate to certain level, true will become false, false will become true. Okay, it is necessary that same caste has same gotra. No, within the caste we have many gotras. Okay, see, if the same caste people will have same gotra, the two rules will become contradictory. You have to marry outside the gotra, but you have to marry within the caste. If one caste will have only one gotra, then both the rules cannot go together, right? So these are some questions. So I'm giving the notes. No, you can download this PDF, whatever I'm giving here. You can download that. I'm giving the notes. But I'm not giving the notes at a time. Total anthropology notes I'm not giving. That's all. I give you the notes. Whatever I'm projecting here, you will get it. See, I cannot be like, see, there are many teachers who just write here and teach also. Okay. So I'm giving the notes. This is what I can do. Please don't ask me the things that I cannot do. Please don't ask me the things that I cannot do. Okay. Fine. So, okay. Now, types of marriages based on social status. Types of marriages based on the social status. Okay. Let us see that marriage. Yes. Okay, so based on social status, like we have a few types of marriages. Okay, let us see what are they. You know about the Varna system? First, stop worrying about the notes and listen to the class. If my notes becomes more important than the class, then why am I sitting here? Please, you take the notes, okay, and give very positive feedback. I will take rest in my room. Okay, so main focus should not be the notes. I'll give you 100% notes. Course is completed. 100% positive feedback done. Okay, first listen to the class. Later we can see. Then, so now here I'm speaking about Varna system. Okay, listen here. We have 4 Varnas. We can draw that like this. B, Brahmin. Okay, Brahmin. And I'm using the abbreviation B. Okay, then we have Kshatriya. Kshatriya. And one more thing, listen very carefully. Here I'm writing something. Okay, is this very important for you? No, not important. Why it is not important? This diagram I will give you. Where I will give you? In paper 2. When I teach Varna system, I will give you. Okay. Are you able to hear me? Somebody said stuck. Okay, fine. Okay. So now listen this point, very important. So like here I'm writing about Varna system. Earlier I have written about lineage, clan, fratry, moiety, fratry. Okay, lineage, clan, fratry. You could not write what it is. Is there any problem? Absolutely no problem. Because I will give you the definition of, like I have given the definition of marriage here. Okay, here I have given the definition of marriage, right? Same way in kinship chapter, I will give you the definitions of lineage, clan, fratry. Okay, you will not miss anything. Whatever I am writing in the rough is not important. Is not important means you have to understand it. Try to remember it. Okay, you will get it in the form of PDF in the respective classes. Okay, so when we discuss about Varna system, in paper 2 we have Varna system. There I will discuss that. Okay, so now coming to this Brahmin, Kshatriya, then we have Vaishya. Last we have Sudra, or in some sources given as Shudra. Both the spellings are okay. Same way here also Vaisya or Vaishya. Okay, so these are the 4 Varnas. Now, hypergamy. We are seeing the classification based on social status. We are seeing the types of marriage based on social status. Hypergamy, hypogamy. Okay, you don't know about the marriage concept. Okay, no problem. No anthropology background, but you know hypo, right? Hyper means greater, superior. Hypo means lesser, inferior, right? You know, gamy means fusion. In this context, it is marriage. Okay, so when we call it as a hypergamy, if anybody marries a person who is from higher status, then it is called as hypergamy. Okay, so like hypergamy means what? Marrying from a higher status. Hypogamy means what? Marrying a person from a lower status. That is called as hypogamy. Done. Then you may ask me one question. Yes, higher varna, higher caste. That is called as hypergamy. Lower varna, lower caste. That is called as hypogamy. Okay. Then, yes, exactly correct question I got. Okay. Lippy is asking me this question. From whose perspective it should be considered? From the man's perspective or from the woman's perspective? Okay. Who is marrying a person from the higher caste? Answer this, everybody. Who is marrying a person from the higher caste? Ego, man, both are correct. Ego is also correct answer because in patriarchy, ego is man. In patriarchy, ego is man. Remember, in patriarchy, ego is man. Okay. In marriage, we have 2 people. So who should be on a higher status for us to call the marriage as hypergamy? Okay. Man should be on the higher status. Then we call it as hypergamy, not woman. Okay. So Asif Ali, not woman. Man should be on a higher status. Then we call it as hypergamy. Why man? Because we are giving the names in a patriarchal system, not in the matriarchal system. Okay. Yes. Adhish Tripathi. Yes. When patriarchy is assumed, hypergamy, man is from higher status. But then you may ask me one question: why should we assume patriarchy only? Because patriarchy is present in the world in 99.999% of the societies. Almost we have matriarchy only exceptionally. That too not perfect matriarchy. Okay. Again, matriarchy is different. Matrilineal societies are different. Matriarchal societies are different. Matrilineal societies are different. But what is that difference? I will teach you in the kinship chapter, not here. Okay. But there is some difference. In India also, we have matrilineal societies, but we don't have perfect matriarchal societies. Right. So when nothing is given, you have to assume patriarchy. When patriarchy is given, it is patriarchy. When matriarchy is given, it is matriarchy. When nothing is mentioned, nothing is specified, then you have to assume patriarchy because it is common. Okay. So in hypergamy, man should be in a higher status. And once again, I'm repeating, you need not worry about this rough work that I'm doing. Is it clear? It will come to you in one class or the other. If it does not come in marriage chapter, it comes in kinship chapter, or it comes in Varna system in paper 2, or caste system in paper 2. Okay. So some other chapter. You will get everything that I'm speaking in the form of the PDF, but not total PDF at a time. Okay. Then. Yes. Now let us see hypergamy. In what all cases we call it as hypergamy. Paper 2 is about India. Paper 1 is world. Paper 2 is India. Okay. Now look at here. Hypergamy. The Indian word for it, the Sanskrit word for it is anuloma vivaha. Hypergamy or anuloma vivaha. Second one is hypogamy. That is called pratiloma vivaha. Okay. Then so actually my writing looks like this. Okay. But here my writing became like this on this board. I have to practice writing on this more. Okay. Fine. So okay. Coming to this hypergamy, anuloma vivaha, hypogamy, pratiloma vivaha. Okay, then so look at here. In hypergamy, if the boy is a Brahmin, girl is either Kshatriya or Vaishya or Sudra. In all these cases, we call it as hypergamy. Okay, if the boy is a Brahmin, then whoever he marries other than Brahmin, then it is called as hypergamy. Okay. So these words, hypergamy, hypogamy, are given. Here one question from Sweta Rana. So the question is it caste or Varna? This terminology is based on Varna. Because intercaste marriage itself is not permitted. Then why do they name it? Did you understand my point? But historically, inter-Varna marriages were permitted. Inter Varna marriages were permitted. Okay, so let me tell you one small point about Varna and caste. But of course, in paper 2 we have Varna caste differences. Then I will tell you more clearly. Here, just one point. So actually we have only 4 Varnas, but we have thousands of castes. So Varna and caste are not the same. Okay, but caste system originated from Varna system. Caste system originated from Varna system. And presently, Varna is only a reference group. Something which is having functional significance today is only caste system. Okay, we do not have Varna system in practice presently. Okay, so I repeat, Varna caste are different. Second point, Varna caste originated from Varna system. And presently we don't have Varna system in practice. They are only reference groups. Caste system is in practice. Okay, you have to remember these about it. So this classification is based on, when I write only 4, it must be Varna only, it cannot be caste. Okay. Varna meaning not now. In paper 2 we will discuss. Now focus on marriage. Okay. So like if the boy is a Brahmin, if he marries a Kshatriya, Vaishya or a Sudra, it means Brahmin Kshatriya, Brahmin Vaishya, Brahmin Sudra, marriages are hypergamy. Same way if the boy is Kshatriya, okay, and he marries a Vaishya or a Sudra girl, then also we call it as hypergamy. Okay. Then if the boy is a Vaishya and he marries a Sudra girl, then also it is hypergamy. Okay, because boy is superior in all these cases. This is called as hypergamy. Again, we will discuss hypergamy examples. Okay, in paper 2. Hypergamy examples I will give you in paper 2 in Varna system topic. Okay, so here only classification. Now hypogamy. Hypogamy means if a girl is Brahmin and she marries a Kshatriya or Vaishya or a Sudra boy, girl is superior, boy is inferior. So we call it as hypogamy. Boy hypo, isn't it? Boy's position is hypo. Okay, so that is called as Brahmin boy can't marry with the Brahmin girl. He can of course marry, but we don't call it as hypergamy or hypogamy. Okay, then done. Then now look at here. If a Kshatriya marries a Vaishya or a Sudra, or Vaishya marries a Sudra, in all these cases the boy is hypo, therefore it is called as hypogamy. So simple. If the boy is hypergamy. If the boy is hypogamy. That's all. Okay, fine. Now let us see a little more detail. What if a Sudra boy marries a Brahmin girl? Okay, like that is also possible. Sudra boy marries a Brahmin girl. Okay, you tell me what it is called as. Sudra boy marries a Brahmin girl. Hypogamy. Hypogamy. Just put yourself one question. Is the boy hyper or hypo? That's all. You need not, all this is nonsense. You can write on your own. Okay, you need not copy all this. Simple point. Just put yourself a question. Okay, is the boy hyper or hypo? If your answer is hyper, it is hypergamy. That's all. Okay, then now. Okay, so now one more point. Look at here. Basically, we can classify the marriages into homogamy. You get this classification. If you want, you can write it. If you want, you can write it. Okay, we can classify the marriages into homogamy. Okay, write down this brief classification, please. Okay, so homogamy, heterogamy. Homogamy, heterogamy. Okay, so homogamy means what? Marrying in the same status. For example, Brahmin, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Vaishya. Marrying in the same status. Homogamy. Heterogamy means what? Different status. You know, homo, hetero. Okay, homo means same, hetero means different. Okay, so homogamy means what? Marrying in the same status. Hetero means different status. Okay, so heterogamy is 2 types: hypergamy, hypogamy. Hypergamy, hypogamy. Just write this flow chart. Okay, I will wait for 2 minutes. Copy this. Marriage is 2 types basically, depending on the status. Depending on status, marriage is 2 types. Homogamy means marrying a person from the same status. Heterogamy, marrying a person from a different status. Okay, so homogamy means Brahmin, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Kshatriya, Sudra, Sudra, within the caste, all such marriages. So heterogamy means marrying from a different status. Now, there is no further classification of homogamy. But when it is different status, there comes another question. Higher status or lower status? Same status means same status. There is no more question. But when I say different status, another question comes. Higher status or lower status? Then if the boy is higher status, hypergamy. If the boy is lower status, hypogamy. So hyper, hypo are the 2 types of heterogamy, and the other type of marriage is homogamy. Okay, so yes, based on class also we can do, based on caste also we can do, but this anuloma vivaha and pratiloma vivaha. Okay, so as I told you, hypergamy is called as anuloma vivaha and hypogamy is called pratiloma vivaha. Pratiloma is opposite to anuloma. Okay, so anuloma, pratiloma words are given with respect to varna. Okay, we can use hyper, hypo words for class, economic class, rich, poor, caste system, all these things. But the hypergamy, hypogamy or anuloma vivaha, pratiloma vivaha words are particularly used in the context of varna system. Okay, fine. Now let us move on. With this we completed the types of marriage. We started the types of marriage here. Okay, and then we have seen this consanguineous, uncle, niece, different types of cousin marriages. Then we have seen depending on the number of spouses, polygyny, polyandry, polygyny, and these subcategories and all that. Then we have seen that monogamy is the most common form of marriage. And other than monogamy, remaining all marriages are socially or culturally constructed, made up, not natural, artificial. Okay. Then we have seen the classification based on the social group, that is endogamy, exogamy. Then after that, we have seen the classification based on the status, that is homogamy, heterogamy. Heterogamy further subdivided into hypergamy, hypogamy. Okay. So with that, we completed types of marriage. Okay. Regarding answer writing, okay, with this we completed the types of marriages. Now let me answer a few questions that are coming here. So regarding answer writing, I will conduct something for answer writing. Okay, we'll surely conduct something for answer writing. But one thing I still did not decide, like how we have to do it. Okay, second thing is, even if I decide today, you cannot write. It's not the right time to start answer writing. Okay, so at least 10-15 classes should be completed. After that only you can write some meaningful answers because the topics are interlinked. Okay, you cannot answer the questions only with the knowledge of marriage. Okay, so let at least some 10 classes go. After 10 classes, I will let you know, okay, how the answer, because for answer writing, because you want me to conduct something for answer writing. For answer writing, first rule is we should know the answer. Okay, the most fundamental rule is we should know the answer, right? So we are in that process up to 10 days. Like even if I conduct something, it's not a right stage to start. After 10th class, I will let you know how we proceed with the answer writing. Done. But I will keep discussing the questions. As of now, like we discussed 2 questions. If you remember, the first question that we have seen here is, okay, define marriage, describe various types of marriages in human societies. This is a 15 marks question from the year 2014. Okay, as I told you, we will be discussing some more than 400 previous questions. This is one question that we discussed. Define. Right now, break only. I'm just discussing something like which the students are asking. I'm not proceeding with the topic. So those who want some 2-3 minutes break, relax. Okay, so this is one previous question, that is define marriage and describe various types of marriages in human societies. Okay. I'm giving you the notes. This is all you will get. Look at here. All this information you will get. Incest taboo, theories explaining incest taboo. Okay, this is all the notes that you will get. Okay, there are some more questions here. Okay, is it necessary that same caste has no? Okay. Okay. Gotra concept of India. Yes, Gotra system is particularly for Hinduism. Gotra is particularly in Hinduism. Okay. Then if in a marriage, women are higher status than the man, it is called. Woman is higher status, hypogamy. Yes. Okay. Anuja, if woman is higher status means what? Comparatively, man is lower status. So hypogamy. Okay. Current affairs related to Anthro, yes. Okay, I will update the course. For every batch, I will update the course. So current affairs will be included. But basically, Anthro is not a very dynamic subject. Okay, and also I cannot guarantee that I will include every current event that happens, because you people, because you are preparing for UPSC, will be actively going through the current affairs regularly. So daily newspaper reading, magazines, everything is very important for the whole UPSC preparation. Okay, so you better have a collection of the current events. What you have to do is, you have to totally by heart remember the anthropology syllabus. Read the total syllabus 3-4 times. Once you remember the syllabus, when you are doing the newspaper reading on a daily basis, whatever news is related to some topic in anthro syllabus, write it down separately. That's all. There is no special preparation of current affairs needed for anthropology. Okay. Give questions, then give us some time. Giving time to write during the class is, I think, time based in the class. You can go through Vivek Basme's book. You can also go through Akshat Jain's book, that is Anthropology Demystified. But that is not majorly for the content. That is to get some idea about answer writing. Okay, so you need more deeper content. Okay, because like question and answers are randomly, obviously question and answers will be randomly based. Okay, so it will not cover any book, not only those two. Any book in the question and answer format cannot comprehensively cover the total syllabus. You have to understand the subject. Then after you learn the subject, to write the answers effectively, you can refer both the books. Vivek Basme's book is also good. Akshat Jain's book is also good. Okay, fine. Vivek Basme's book, I think, Anthropology Simplified. Akshat Jain's book, Anthropology Demystified. Both are good in their own way. We cannot compare like that. Both are good in their own way, but both will be useful only for getting some idea about answer writing. Okay, so that is not for the whole preparation. You cannot expect the complete preparation from that. Okay, for content, the class is sufficient. After the class, you can read my notes. After completely reading my notes, then you can take any one of those 2 books and get some idea about answer writing. That will be sufficient. Okay, so the order is, okay, the order is first listen to the class. That will save a lot of time. Then like go through my notes. Okay, and after you understand the class, after you totally learn the notes, not only giving it a reading, learn the notes, then you can read any of those books, Anthropology Simplified or Anthropology Demystified. They both are in the question and answer format. That is only to get some idea about how to write good answers. That's all. Fetishism, totemism will be covered in Unit 5, Religion. We are still discussing marriage. So this is not a right class to tell you what is that. Done. So now we have to continue with the class. You can also message the questions here. The portion which mentions universality of marriage is what we discussed in the first class. That is beginning of the institution. Yes, universality of marriage. Okay, let us see that point also once. There is one more question I have given here. Okay, look at this question, all of you. Okay, so look at this question, all of you. Discuss the different forms of preferential marriage with suitable examples from tribal societies in India. Okay, discuss the different forms of preferential marriages. What do you mean by preferential marriages? Simple. Okay, there is no specific anthropological meaning for it. Okay, the marriages that we prefer, are the marriages that are preferential marriages. Means what? The common marriages. For example, in South India, cross-cousin marriages are common. Okay, in South India, cross-cousin marriages are common. Okay, or monogamy is a common form of marriage. Or also in South India, uncle-niece marriages are common relatively when compared to North India. Uncle-niece marriages are common. Okay, and there are so many regional differences. So, for example, like earlier when I was taking offline classes, there used to be some 400-500 students. So in that, majority will be from North India. So like when I speak about some cross-cousin marriages or uncle-niece marriage more particularly, the North Indians look very shockingly. And for South Indians, it is okay. We know that. Is it clear? So it means what? There are so many regional variations, okay, in the culture. So preferential marriage means what? Something which is common there, something which is accepted there, something which is preferred there, okay. So that is called as preferential marriages. Now, so yes, it is very shocking for Krishna. Okay, then. So this is how, like, that was a good experience for me, because otherwise even I don't know like all regional cultures, right? So I have to observe the faces, like for what statement, which group is looking shockingly. Okay, so that also acted as a very important field work. So now listen carefully. Every marriage is a preferential marriage in one society or the other. Say for example, monogamy is a preferential marriage in most of the societies. Polyandry is a preferential marriage among Nair community. Polyandry is a preferential marriage among Nair community. Uncle niece marriage, common preferential marriage in South India. Cross cousin marriage is preferential marriage in South India. Or endogamy, caste endogamy. Caste endogamy is a preferential marriage throughout India. Okay, caste endogamy is a preferential form of marriage throughout India. So listen to this statement very carefully. All the types of marriages that we have seen till now, okay, are preferential marriages in one place or the other. In one place or the other. Say for example, if you look at this table, polygyny is a preferential marriage among Gond, Naga, Bhil, Santal, Chenchu, etc. Understood the usage of the word preferential marriage? Okay. Same way, polyandry is a preferential marriage among Toda, etc. Polygynandry, okay, is a preferential marriage in Toda, Khasa. What is common? What is preferred there? So this is how, like, we have this question. Preferential marriages means you just have to write the types of marriages. Types of marriages. Okay. Legal means the law is also different. Some tribals are outside the purview of the law. Say, for example, do you expect some Sentinelese tribe to follow the Hindu Marriage Act? Not possible, right? Okay. So that is how, like, not everybody is in the purview of a particular law. And we have Marriage Act specifically, like, different for different communities. It's not a uniform law throughout India or throughout the world. Okay. So now legal or illegal depends on which community we are speaking about. Depending on the time period, because sometimes like a few types of marriages will be made illegal. Okay. So now coming to this, discuss different forms of preferential marriage with suitable examples from tribal societies in India is nothing but, okay, types of marriage. So for both the questions, what you have to write for this question. Okay. I hope you are reading the question. Read the question carefully. Define marriage. Describe various types of marriages in human society. 2014. Okay. And this question. Discuss different forms of preferential marriage with suitable examples from tribal societies in India. For this question. For both the questions. Structure is, you have to write one or two definitions of marriage. Then types of marriage like this. Types of marriage flowchart like this. Then elaborate this flowchart. Elaborate this flowchart. That's all. Okay. Then both more or less similar answer. Yes. Same answer in fact. Okay. So this is a question from 2017-15 marker. Then is marriage universal? Yes, marriage is universal. But there is no definition which is universally accepted. Marriage is universal. Okay. Okay, you can just write down this statement. Write down these points. Marriage is universal in all, or universal, or is found in all human societies. Okay. One or the other type of marriage is present in all human societies. But there is no definition of marriage which is universally accepted. There is no definition of marriage which is universally accepted. Okay. Because any definition you take, let us suppose, okay, any definition you take that need not include all the types of marriages, because we have very unusual forms of marriage also. We have some concepts like ghost marriage, okay, or posthumous marriage means what? A dead person will be married. Posthumous marriage means a dead person will be married, okay, or people marry with a plant or an animal, okay, but of course, those are for some religious beliefs, okay. I'll tell you a small case. There are, yes, Mangalik, okay. So when there are some horoscope defects, okay, and it is something like whoever marries this girl will die, then the girl will first marry Aishwarya Rai, okay. So the girl will first marry a plant or an animal, let that poor plant or animal die, later the husband will be strong, okay. So such religious concepts, beliefs and all. Not all marriages are for functional, okay. Ghost marriage does not mean they really have some children with a ghost, not like that. Not all marriages are functional. We have some such very unusual forms of marriages also, okay. So there is no definition for anthropology that is universally accepted, okay, that is applicable to all forms of marriage. So conclusion is universality of marriage. For that, write down a small conclusion. Marriage is universal. Marriage is universal. One or the other form of marriage is present in all human societies. I hope you are writing. One or the other form of marriage is present in all human societies. But there is no definition of marriage. There is no definition of marriage that is universally accepted. There is no definition of marriage that is universally accepted. Okay. First marriage with plant is prevalent in Jharkhand. Okay. Now, so with that, we have discussed almost 3 previous questions. 2 times that question repeated. That is, what is marriage? Types of marriage. Okay. Then one more question. Now write a note on universality of marriage. Write a note on universality of marriage. Okay. For that, what you have to write is you have to write 1 or 2 definitions and a few types of marriage. Okay. Like take down the answer structure. If the question is, write this down. If the question is universality of marriage, if this is the question, what you have to write is 1 or 2 definitions of marriage first. Then you write the types of marriage. Means this question is also more or less similar to that question only. Okay, till here this is same as the previous answer. Then what you have to write in the conclusion is marriage is universal. Marriage is universal. One or the other form of marriage present in all human societies. One or the other form of marriage is present in all human societies. But there is no definition of marriage. There is no definition of marriage which is universally accepted. Which is universally accepted. Okay, write down this structure. If the question is, write a note on universality of marriage. Then the structure of the answer is first 1 or 2 definitions of marriage, then types of marriage, Based on that evidence, what you are going to write is, see, one or the other type of marriage is present everywhere. So marriage is universal. But all marriages cannot fit into these definitions. So definition of marriage is not universal. This is conclusion. Okay. Then now let us move on to the next topic, that is rules of marriage. Rules of marriage or marriage regulations. Rules of marriage or marriage regulations. Intro, body, conclusion. Mostly we follow that structure. But in the previous structure that I have given, the definition will work as introduction. Okay, it's not that 100% every answer you have to write some introduction. Sometimes the definition can act as an introduction. Okay, then whatever structure I have given is the main body, and conclusion I have given there. So that is how we proceed. Now the next topic is rules of marriage or marriage regulations. Both mean the same. Okay, so here let me again explain this content. We have something called positive rules. This is little tricky. Complete concentration here, please. We have positive rules. Positive rules. Okay, say whom to marry. Positive rules are the rules about whom to marry. Okay, for example, if your parents, now imagine about like your own case or some of your friends' case or something like that. Okay, so here, if the rule is in the form of you have to marry this boy or you have to marry this particular girl, okay, then it is called as positive rule. Okay, negative rule means what? Negative rules means you should not marry. If the rule is in the form of you should not marry, does not mean you should not marry at all. You can marry, okay, but you should not marry so and so person or so and so category. That is called as a negative rule. I already told you this particular topic is little tricky, so complete concentration here, please, all of you. Okay, so if the statement is in the form of you have to marry this boy, positive rule. If the statement is in the form of you should not marry this boy, then it is called negative rule. Okay, now positive rules are also called as, okay, now let us see like this. Look at here. Positive rules are two types. First one is prescriptive rules. Prescriptive rules. You know, prescription. A doctor prescribes the medicine. Okay, now listen carefully. When you go to a doctor, on the prescription, will he write the medicine that you have to take, or will he write a list of all the medicines that you should not take? For example, how it would be if a doctor writes 1,000,000 medicines and at the end he will write, don't take any one of these 1,000,000 medicines. You have to take the medicine other than this. No prescription is in that form, right? He will write that particular medicine that you have to take. Same way, your parents are showing you that particular boy you have to marry. Then it is called prescriptive, prescribing. The parents are prescribing whom you have to marry. Just like a doctor prescribes you which medicine you have to take. Your parents are prescribing you which person you have to marry. That's all. Prescriptive rules. See, bring the term to something that you already know. That is an easy form of remembering it. Okay, okay, so that is prescriptive rules. Prescriptive rules are in the form of, okay, you must marry. You must marry this boy only. Otherwise, I will kill you or I will die. I will suicide. This type of rules are called as prescriptive rules. Is it clear? Okay, so they are called as prescriptive. Must. Okay, the rule is in the form of must, a compulsory rule. Okay, then now listen carefully. In the positive rule, second type. And by the way, one small point. Offline, online are two different ways of teaching. But I never had so much of interaction with the students in offline. That is 100% not possible. Okay, so this is very much good. Like I don't feel anything lesser in the online. Okay, so this is what the COVID crisis made me realize, because I never thought, because basically I'm a very non-technical person. I don't even know how to use my mobile phone. Okay, how to use my laptop. I'm a very, very non-technical person. So I never thought like I will do online classes or I will be able to. I never thought that COVID crisis introduced this new kind of thing. Okay, so in this way, a lot of interaction is being possible. I'm liking it as much as I liked offline. Okay, fine. Coming back to this, prescriptive rules will come in the form of must. Okay, then. Here itself another thing will be there, preferential rules. But one thing is I have to handwriting practice. Preferential rules. Okay, preferential rules are different. Preferential marriages are different. Don't confuse. Listen very carefully. Preferential rules are different. Preferential marriages are different. Okay, so let me write down one statement. If you want to write down preferential marriages. Preferential marriages means common marriages. Preferential rules are a type of positive rules. Okay, if you want to write down both the statements. Preferential marriages means common marriages. Okay, and preferential rules are a type of positive rules. Okay, so and they have given that question so that students will confuse between these two only. Preferential rules is a more popular word. Preferential marriages word is not specifically used. So they have given the question like that so that the students will confuse between these two. Okay, so preferential marriages are different. Preferential rules are different. Now, what are preferential rules? Preferential rules means what? If the parents say, listen carefully, if your parents, imagine your case only, if your parents will show you a boy and simply say, I'll be happy if you marry this boy. Otherwise also it's okay because finally you have to live with that boy. Then it is called as a preferential rule. Okay, means what they are prescribing. Okay, they are saying you have to marry this boy, but not in the form of a must. I prefer this boy. Okay, I prefer this boy, but it's okay. Finally, it is up to you. Such rules, flexible rules, okay, are called as a preferential rule. So more simply, what I can say is, strict positive rules are prescriptive rules. Flexible positive rules are preferential rules. Rigid, strict, like in the case of honor killings, when I said you have to marry this boy, otherwise I will kill you or I will commit suicide. It's not something a joke. That is what is happening in the world. Okay, and the number of honor killings are unfortunately increasing. Number of honor killings, rather than decreasing with modernization, they are increasing. And whenever one such event happens, in that particular time period, more such events are happening. That is more unfortunate. Okay, so it means what? One event is motivating the other. Such rules, such rigid rules are called as prescriptive rules. But normally what all our parents will say, we prefer this boy, but it's okay. In general, flexibles. Like most of the families are not like do or die, right? Such rules are called as preferential rules. So finally, strict positive rules, prescriptive rules, flexible positive rules, preferential rules. Okay. Then negative rules means what? Negative rule means, okay, you do not marry. In what cases we say, listen very carefully, do not marry outside the caste. Do not marry outside the caste. Within our caste, you bring whoever you want, will get you married. This kind of rule is called as negative rule. Okay, means what? Here, in fact, they are showing millions of people whom you should not marry. Is it? They're not showing the person whom you have to marry. They're showing millions of people whom you should not marry. Okay, other than them, you marry from your choice. Okay, so that is called as negative rule. So negative rules comes in the form of, if you want to write this statement, negative rules comes in the form of prohibitions. Okay. And one small instruction, at least till I perfectly practice my handwriting on this board, don't depend on my rough notes. First thing, most of the points which I'm writing in the rough notes will be there in the notes also, in the PDF also, or otherwise just jot down in the form of running notes, right? Then now, so negative rules are in the form of prohibitions. Prohibitions means, for example, intercaste marriage is prohibited. Widow remarriage is prohibited. Widow remarriage prohibited. Intercaste marriage prohibited. Interreligious marriage prohibited. Okay, some parents are even more flexible. Just please don't bring from the other religion. They're too different when compared to us. You may not be able to adjust. So even intercaste marriage, okay, but don't marry outside the religion. Okay, so interreligious marriages, okay, or say for example prohibited. Then say for example like incest taboo. Incest taboo. I'm introducing another word here. Incest taboo. Okay, incest taboo means what? Look at here. In the word incest taboo, taboo means avoidance. Taboo means avoidance. Okay, means avoiding something. It need not be marriage only. For example, untouchability is a taboo of touch. Touch avoided. Vegetarianism is a taboo of meat. Meat consumption is a taboo. Taboo means what? Avoidance. Or say for example, we see some auspicious time if like we have to do something important in our life. So, or we will not do a few things on certain days or certain times. So that is a taboo of time. Same way there is a taboo of marriage. Taboo of marriage. Okay. So that is called as incest taboo. Incest marriage. Incest means what? Okay. So incest means marriage between, or incest means, let me write it more clearly. Incest, taboo. Taboo, avoidance. Write down if you want. Taboo, avoidance. Okay, you need not write proper definition. I have given the definition of incest taboo. Look at here, incest taboo. Okay, the definition given by Lewis. Okay, you have the standard definition here, but I'm just explaining. If you want, jot down some rough notes. So taboo means avoidance. Incest means what? Prohibited marriage, or socially unacceptable marriage, or marriage among close relatives. Marriage among close relatives like brother, sister. Okay, mother, son, father, daughter. Marriages among close relatives or parallel cousins. Okay, so like all these are called as close relatives. So marriage among close relatives or marriages that are not socially acceptable, that is called incest. You might have heard the word, it's an incestuous marriage. It's an incestuous marriage. For example, if a brother marries his sister, we say it's incestuous. Is it clear? Incestuous means what? Something like which is not very acceptable, something just considered as ugly. Okay, so now that is incest. So avoid incest. Avoiding the incest. Ban on incest is called incest taboo. Ban on incest is called as incest taboo. Okay, and so I hope you understood the word incest taboo. Incest means a sexual relation which is considered as ugly by the society. Okay, unwanted relation. Because it is unwanted relation, avoid it. That is called incest taboo. But you have to understand that taboo is not something always associated with marriage. Taboo need not be linked always with incest. We can have taboo of food, taboo of time, taboo of touch. Is it clear? Okay, all these are taboo. Taboo means avoidance. Then, now I told you about positive rules. Positive rules are two types. Okay, positive rules are two types. What are those two? All of you respond. Positive rules are two types. What are those two? Everybody. No, positive rules are two types. Why are you giving a single word? You have to give me two types. Positive rules are two types. What are they? Everybody. Okay. Prescriptive, preferential. Done. Now listen here carefully. Okay, listen this statement. I'm giving you a poll. Okay, wait, I'll give you a little later. Then negative rules. Okay, one more small point that I have to give you. Negative rules will come in the form of prohibitions, I told you, isn't it? Negative rules are in the form of prohibitions. For example, widow marriage prohibited. Okay, your parents may marry anybody, but please don't marry a widow. Okay, so widow marriage prohibited. Intercaste marriage prohibited. Interreligious marriage prohibited. Okay, then like incest taboo is a negative rule. Okay, incest taboo is also a negative rule. Means don't marry. Okay, any person who is a brotherly relation to you. Okay, let it be your biological brother or a parallel cousin or a person from your joint family or lineage or clan or fratry or gotra, vansh. Is it clear? Okay, so this is prohibited. That is called incest taboo. That is considered to be incestuous. Okay, so negative rules are in the form of prohibitions. Now, I'm giving you a statement and I'll give you a poll for this. All of you respond. Positive rules are more strict when compared to negative rules. True or false? Positive rules are more strict when compared to negative rules. Positive rules are more strict when compared to negative rules. Okay, now I'm laughing because of two reasons. Till now, whatever polls I conducted, in all the polls I kept the answer to be true. Okay, so either you must have observed that, okay, or you must have logically thought what is true or false, right? Till now, all like just now, because I was like I wanted to give false this time, but unknowingly again I made the statement like that. Okay, so the right answer is true. Positive rules are more strict when compared to negative rules. Okay, but usually people will get confused. Confused because positive sounds positive. Is it clear? Positive means because it is like we feel positive, isn't it? So we may think these are flexible rules, but not like that. Actually, positive rules are more strict rules. Okay, because say for example, you have to marry this boy, or at least if the parents say emotionally, I will be happy if you marry this boy. Otherwise, I will not be happy, but you have to be happy. So go ahead. Then also the children cannot marry with complete satisfaction, isn't it? Because as children, you want your parents to be happy with you. Okay, so that is also kind of emotional blackmailing, isn't it? Okay, so yes, exactly, emotional blackmailing. Okay, so but now look at the negative rules. Okay, just don't marry outside the caste. Within the caste, whoever you want to marry. But of course, in that also there is some emotional blackmailing. Okay, but the point is there is more range, right? There is more choice. In the caste, there are so many boys or so many girls among whom you can choose, isn't it? It's not like they're showing one particular girl or boy and asking you must marry or at least I prefer if you marry. Not like that. Okay, there is a wide range of possibility. You can choose anybody from your caste. Right. Okay, but of course, other person also should say yes, that is a different story. Okay, so this is how negative rules are flexible. Don't marry outside the religion. Don't marry a widow. Don't marry a caste. These rules are okay to some extent. So though the negative rules sound negative, they're not actually negative. They are more children-friendly rules, flexible rules. Okay. Then, so now, whatever I already explained, let us give it a reading from your notes. Okay. Positive rules. Positive. This is all I have already explained. I'm just giving it a reading how the notes is like. This kind of marriage rules prescribe or suggest. If they prescribe, then they are called prescriptive rules. If they suggest, they are called preferential rules. This kind of marriage rules prescribe or suggest whom to marry. They can be two types. Prescriptive rules state that one must marry only a member of a particular category among a cross cousin. You have to marry your cross cousin. Okay, preferential rule states that one ought to marry a member of a particular category among cross cousin. Willingly, I have given cross cousin example for both. Why? Because if the parents say you must marry your cross cousin, okay, then it is called prescriptive rules. Okay, rule. And if they say I prefer you getting married to your cross cousin, then it is called preferential rule. Okay, your cross cousin is a preferred choice. Otherwise, it's up to you. That is preferential marriage. Okay, so like to give you that clarity, I gave cross cousins as an example for both the types of rules. Prescriptive rules, you must marry your cross cousin, and the preferential rule, it is better if you marry your cross cousin. Okay, then now, negative rules are also called as proscriptive rules. Negative rules are also called as proscriptive rules. Prescriptive, proscriptive. Okay, this kind of rules suggest whom not to marry. Example, prohibition of intercaste marriage, interreligious marriage, marriage among different economic classes, widow remarriage, incest taboo, etc. These are negative rules. So with this, we completed the rules of marriage or marriage regulations. Rules of marriage or marriage regulations. Okay. Now let us say about incest taboo. This was a previous question, direct question. So in anthropology, actually, the questions are not very twisted. If the questions comes from the syllabus, it is very easy to answer. Sometimes out of syllabus or new questions are coming. Okay. So our approach towards out of syllabus or new questions is to ignore them. Just ignore them. Focus on the syllabus. You're able to hear me? Okay. I'm very sorry. There was some connectivity issue here. Power cut. Okay. I'm very sorry. Fine. So now we are discussing about so we are now discussing about incest taboo. Okay, we understood what is incest taboo. Okay, so I explained you what is incest taboo. Now look at here. Let us see the definition. Lewis has defined incest as a term applicable to any such prohibited union. Incest means what? An unwanted union, prohibited union. Okay, prohibition extends to those cousins who are held to be within the family. If you observe, I've highlighted this particular point here, held to be within the family. Is it clear? Then some of you have asked me one question previously, why cross cousin marriages are permitted, whereas parallel cousin marriages are not common. Why parallel cousin marriages are not common? Okay, because see, look at here. If you think about two brothers' children. Okay, two brothers' children in a joint family will grow together. Two brothers' children in a joint family will grow together. Okay, when they grow together, they see each other through all stages of development. So they usually do not have attraction towards each other. So this is the reason why close relatives who are held within the family, okay, who are held within the family are considered as close relatives. Whereas when it comes to the cross cousin marriages, okay, the sister will go to some other family after the marriage. So brother and sister's children, cross cousins, will grow into separate families. So there is some distance maintained between them. They do not see each other regularly through all stages of development. So they do not have such a level of closeness that they will not get attracted towards each other. As they have a little distance, they can get attracted towards each other. They can develop attraction towards each other. That is the reason why cross cousin marriages are okay, but parallel cousin marriages are not permitted. But when I say this, you may get one doubt. Okay, that is in that case, two sisters' children should be permitted to marriage. Two sisters' children are also parallel cousins. Okay, then their marriage must be permitted. Yes, logically, yes. Okay, but usually two sisters' marriages are not preferred because it is patriarchy. Once again, in patriarchy, if the marriages are done, father side relatives are more preferred. Okay, in patriarchy, if consanguineous marriages are done, then in general they prefer father side relatives. I repeat, in patriarchy, if consanguineous marriages are done, then they usually prefer father side relatives. Okay, they do not prefer having more relations with mother side relatives, because if more and more marriages happen with mother side relatives, then mother will become the strong person here. Mother's power on the family, mother's hold on the family increases. Okay, so that is the reason why father side relatives are usually considered. So father side parallel cousins are the cousins who are held within the family. Just like your brother and sister, they are also in your family. So there is a lot of closeness and they are familiar to each other through all the stages of development. So they will not have that attraction towards each other. So marriage may not be successful between them. This is one reason, okay, why parallel cousin marriages are not common. Now let us see the definition for incest taboo by Lewis. Lewis has defined incest as a term applied to such prohibited union. Prohibition extends to those cousins who are held to be within the family, even though they may be several degrees distant. For example, in Sagotra marriages and all, they are several degrees distant. Okay, they're not direct biological brothers. You cannot even say how the person will become a brother to you, but still they are considered as brothers. Understood? Okay, a person belonging to your gotra, actually brotherly relation. But if somebody asks how he is a brother to you, how he became a brother to you, what is your exact relation with him, we cannot say, we do not even know. He is so distant, but considered as a brother. Okay, so even though they may be several degrees distant and biologically hardly related at all, two people belonging to the same gotra, okay, are they biologically related? Two people belonging to the same gotra, is there a rule that they have to be biologically related? No. Okay, they may not even know each other. Okay, but still they are considered as brothers and sisters. This is how Lewis defined the word incest. If you observe, he defined the word incest. He did not define the word incest taboo. As we understood what is incest, then avoidance of incest is called incest taboo. Okay, so incest taboo is nothing but ban on incest. Incest taboo is nothing but ban on incest. Understood? Okay, so let me just read it out once again. Lewis defined incest as a term applied to such prohibited union. Because it is an unwanted union, avoid that. Ban on incest is incest taboo. And the prohibition usually extends to the cousins who are held within the family. Means patrilateral parallel cousins. Matrilateral parallel cousin marriages are anyhow uncommon. Okay, but patrilateral parallel cousin marriages are prohibited because they treat each other as brothers and sisters. Okay, and this prohibition extends to even Sagotra marriages also. Okay, they can be several degrees distant, but still if they have a brotherly relation, then they should not get married. Okay, then their union is prohibited. So it is better avoid that. Incest taboo. Is the concept of incest taboo clear for all of you? Okay, if this is the question, what you have to write? Introduction becomes the definition. Introduction becomes the definition. Okay, in many answers, introduction can be the definition itself. Define marriage, types of marriage. Introduction is definition only. Okay, then the types of marriage and the continuation of that will become the body and some conclusion depending on the specific question that you have to write. So if this is the question, 2015 10 marks question, then you start with the definition. Okay, then there are some theories explaining incest taboo. Means what? Do you think dogs and cats have something called incest taboo? Do dogs and cats have something called incest taboo? No. So at one point of time, man also lived like animal. At one point of time, in the beginning of the human evolution, man also lived like an animal. So just like most of the animals do not have incest taboo now, humans did not have incest taboo at one point of time. At one point of time, in the beginning of human evolution, humans did not have a rule called incest taboo. It means what? Even brothers sisters used to mate. Okay, obviously at a point when man lived just like an animal, no house, okay, no society, no culture, no family. Okay, man lived just like an animal at that point of time, few lakhs of years ago, when man just lived like an animal, there was no concept called incest taboo. Means what? During the evolution of culture, at some point of time, the incest taboo started. Okay, why did humans develop this simultaneously everywhere? This comes in. Interesting question. Tirupati asked this. Why did humans develop incest taboo simultaneously everywhere in the human societies? Exact answer for this question comes in Unit 6 theories. Unit 6 theories, psychic unity of mankind. Asif Ali answered it. But those who did not understand what is psychic unity, don't worry. We will discuss in Unit 6 theories. Under a theory called evolutionism. A theory called evolutionism, diffusionism. In that we will discuss, but not now. But remember the question. Okay. Okay, so at one point of time, the incest taboo started. Now we are discussing about why incest taboo started. Why incest taboo started. There are many theories for it. One is psychoanalytic theory by Sigmund Freud. Psychoanalytic theory by Sigmund Freud. Keep using the words in your mind. Okay, psychoanalytic theory by Sigmund Freud. What he says is, listen carefully, what he says is, according to him, according to Sigmund Freud, even mother and son will have attraction, sexual attraction. Even father and daughter will have sexual attraction. Even brother and sister will have, according to Sigmund Freud. Okay, you need not feel it is correct. You may differ with him, absolutely. As I told you, sociology or social anthropology is not a subject of facts. It is a subject of opinions. In the opinion of Sigmund Freud, you need not accept his opinion. In the opinion of Sigmund Freud, even brothers, sisters, okay, or mother and son, father and daughter have sexual attraction. And according to him, that is the reason. Okay, did you notice actually daughters are favorite for fathers and sons are favorite for the mothers? In most of the families it happens. Okay, and Sigmund Freud's logic is that you need not accept, once again, you need not agree with Sigmund Freud. Okay, and so, like, even brother may ignore his brother, but brother give a lot of importance to the sister, isn't it? Okay, and Raki brothers, Raki sisters, so much importance. Okay, unusually high levels of importance, isn't it? So that is how, like, according to Sigmund Freud, that is the reason. Okay, for more affection and like more affection or such things. Okay, between brother sisters or Raki brother, Raki sister, or mother and son, father and daughter. Okay, like this. So Sigmund Freud's opinion is, if you do not socially prohibit such relations, if we do not socially prohibit such relations, okay, because brother and sisters are constantly in the family, right? So if there is no social prohibition, we have to psychologically tune them not to have sexual relations. Otherwise, most of them may involve in such sexual relations, which may destroy the family. So therefore, we need such rule. Therefore, such rule started. Okay, means naturally they are attracted. So we have to socially stop them. Naturally they are attracted. So by a social rule, we have to stop them. We have to psychologically tune them that this is something which is very ugly. Okay, otherwise most of them may involve in such relations that may spoil the family relations, is the opinion of Sigmund Freud. So let us go through this, what I have given here. Let us check. According to this theory, a strong sexual relation exists between two persons of a closely related family, like mother and son, father and daughter. So incest taboo is a way to control the sexual relations between these persons. Okay, this is Sigmund Freud's opinion. So Tirupati and Haridhar are saying Sigmund Freud is very weird. Okay, if you feel he is weird, I will now give you exactly opposite theory. Okay, you did not like Sigmund Freud, right? So now let us see an opposite theory. Okay, opposite theory is childhood familiarity theory by Edward Wester. Childhood familiarity theory by Edward Wester. And you ask me if this is the question what you have to write, and I have given the model answer here. Okay, and one more thing. Most of the notes that I give you will have almost direct answers for the questions. Almost direct answers. For example, if incest taboo is the question, this is what you have to write. What more you will write? Definition of what is incest taboo. Then theory is explaining incest taboo. Okay, then write some conclusion which is suitable to you. In fact, I should not even do more than that, because when the answers becomes very uniform, if everybody write the same answers, okay, and like they will try to give new questions. Do you understand? If everybody is writing the same answer for all the regularly asked questions, okay, what they will try to do? They will try to ask you new questions. Okay, so a teacher should not give directly say this is what you have to write, especially for UPSC. That will kill the optional. Okay, there should be some uniqueness in the answer writing, like from the student side. So most of the notes I'm giving you will have answer for every question. Will have answer for all the 400 plus previous questions I mentioned, but may not be very directly. Okay, that much work should be done from your side. Fine. So for those people who did not like Sigmund Freud, Edward Wester is giving some relief. That is childhood familiarity theory. What he said is, because the brothers and sisters or the parallel cousins who are growing in the same family are familiar to each other since childhood, so they will not have sexual attraction. So marriages and procreation of the children will not happen successfully if they are married. So better don't marry them because they will not have sexual attraction. Exactly opposite theory, isn't it? Do you all agree? Edward Wester and Sigmund Freud, okay, are Edward Wester and Sigmund Freud are exactly opposite? Yes, they both are exactly opposite. From this, you have to make another observation. Two theories can be opposite. Two theories can be similar. Two theories can be unrelated. Is it clear? So when two theories are opposite, which one is a fact? That is the reason why social anthropology is not a subject of facts. It is a subject of opinions. We will study the opinions of a few people. You may agree with the opinion of some people. You may disagree with the opinion of the others. Now, third theory, inbreeding avoidance theory. Inbreeding avoidance theory. Okay, this is also simple. Inbreeding means what? Inside, within the community. Breeding. Breeding means mating. Is it clear? Okay. So inbreeding means marriages within the community, like endogamy. Inbreeding is like endogamy. Okay. So inbreeding leads to some genetic diseases you might have heard. Genetically weaker children or children with genetic diseases will be born if close relatives marry. That is the reason why close relative marriages should be avoided. That is called inbreeding avoidance theory. Inbreeding avoidance theory. Okay. So three theories we have seen. Now fourth theory, cooperation theory by E.B. Tylor. Please correct this. This is a small spelling mistake. There is no A here. T-A-Y-L-O-R. Okay. Remember this correction. T-Y-L-O-R. So cooperation theory by E.B. Tylor. Okay, E.B. Tylor. Remember this man. We'll discuss more about him later in Unit 6 in the theories. Okay, cooperation theory. According to him, incest taboo is necessary for cooperation and healthy relationships among family members. Incest taboo is necessary for cooperation and healthy relations among family members. Okay, then I think. Okay. See, let us suppose. Imagine a triangle love story. If two boys love the same girl or two girls love the same boy, then if two boys love the same girl, will they treat each other as rivals or friends? If two boys love the same girl, will they treat themselves as rivals? Rivals? Now just imagine. Okay, very good, right? Depends, Avinash, depends. Very good, nice boy. So here, now usually, except Avinash, usually the like two boys or two girls who love the same person will consider themselves as rivals. Some envy will be associated. Now just imagine if there is no incest taboo. There are two brothers and one sister in the family. Both the brothers want the sister. Then there is a rivalry relation in the family. The whole family will become the rivals to each other. So family cooperative relations cannot happen. Okay, it leads to rivalry among the family members. That is the reason why we need incest taboo. Okay, so that is the reason why we need incest taboo according to E.B. Tylor. According to him, incest taboo is necessary for cooperation and healthy relationships among family members. If there is no restriction of sexual relations, it would lead to suspicious and hostility among family members. Okay, and one more small thing that I'm doing is, listen this very carefully. There was a discussion about the notes. Okay, I'm not giving the class per day. For example, in this PDF, like don't use the PDF of the previous class. Today's PDF, if you take, you have complete PDF for marriage chapter. Okay, I will not give you class wise. I will give you chapter wise, marriage PDF, family PDF, kinship PDF, like that. So this PDF contains the complete notes for marriage chapter, not only today's class, topic wise or chapter wise. Okay, done. Then. So like yesterday, I could not complete this PDF, so I kept only a few slides that I could complete yesterday. So today's PDF contains total marriage chapter. Okay. So from now onwards, for all the topics, I will give you topic-wise or chapter-wise notes. Fine. Coming back to this, that is cooperation theory. Next, family disruption theory by Malinowski. Remember this man also. We will discuss about him in theories again. Okay. Malinowski. Family disruption theory. Same. Cooperation theory, family disruption theory, both are similar theories. Tylor and Malinowski's opinion are same. If there is no incest taboo, the family relations will be disrupted, destroyed. The family will be destroyed with all this rivalry, hostility, and all that. Okay. So do you agree if I say Malinowski's family disruption theory, E.B. Tylor's cooperation theory are similar to each other? Are they both similar to each other? Yes. Wonderful. Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. Next, Levi-Strauss theory. Okay, Levi-Strauss theory or Levi-Strauss theory. Okay, Opposite theories and similar theories. Yes, this is similar theory. Okay, those two are opposite theory. This is an irrelevant, slightly different theory. Okay, not relevant, much relevant. Levi-Strauss gave a concept called binary opposition. Levi-Strauss gave a concept called binary opposition. Binary opposition means what? Binary means two opposites. It means what? Human mind will recognize the things around us into two opposites. Like for example, pure, impure. Okay, pure, impure, marriable, unmarriable. Marriable, unmarriable. For example, if I show you a sister, your brain will recognize her as unmarriable. Okay. If I show some other girl, your brain may recognize as marriable. So this is how human brain will recognize some people as marriable, some people as unmarriable. This is called binary opposition. Means two opposites. Binary, two opposition, two opposites. Pure, impure, God, ghost. Okay. Marriable, unmarriable. This is how the human brain is organizing the experiences in the form of two opposites. That is called as binary opposition. So according to Levi-Strauss, human brain will recognize a few relations as unmarriable. It is better don't marry them. Better don't marry them. That is the reason why we have incest taboo. Is Levi-Strauss theory. Okay, so that's all that is about incest taboo question. You have to write the definition and these theories. If incest taboo is the question, you have to write the definition and then these theories, and you can write some conclusion of your choice. Okay, and as all the questions from the syllabus are quite expected questions, it's better you plan conclusions beforehand. Means now itself you can think what conclusion you can write for incest taboo. Okay, so that is a direct answer given in the notes. Okay, Levi-Strauss theory, I will repeat. Nothing. Levi-Strauss spoken about binary. Binary means what? Two. Bhavna, please tell me what is binary. Bhavna Sharma, what is binary? Two. Binary opposition means two opposites. Agreed? Bhavna is? Binary opposition means two opposites. Same way human brain will recognize the girls. For example, a man's mind will recognize the girls, categorize the girls as marriable, unmarriable. So a man's brain will recognize his parallel cousin as unmarriable. So better don't get him married to her. Okay. Why? Because his brain is recognizing her as a sister. His brain is recognizing her as an unmarriable person. That is called Levi-Strauss theory. Okay. Binary differences. The man divides the women surrounding him into two mutually exclusive categories, wives and sisters, or marriable, unmarriable. So the sisters category people he cannot marry. So better don't marry them, avoid such relations. That's all. These are the theories explaining incest taboo. So that's all for today's class. In one more class, we will complete marriage chapter. It is going exactly as planned. I have given 3 sessions for marriage. Tomorrow we will be completing 2 sessions completed. Tomorrow we will be completing marriage. There is schedule 4.5 months schedule given. That is 122 classes if I remember correctly. The course will proceed with 99% accuracy according to that schedule. 99% the course will be as per the schedule given there. Thank you so much. Okay, questions? Parallel cousin can't marry, but we have marriage like matrilateral parallel cousins. Okay, those are again depending on the culture. For example, in Islam, parallel cousin marriages are permitted. In some tribal societies, parallel cousin marriages are permitted. Whether a particular form of marriage is permitted or not depends on the culture, depends on the society. Okay, is negative rule kind of exogamy? Negative rule is preventing exogamy. Negative rule is not exogamy, but negative rule is preventing exogamy. Don't marry outside the caste. Okay, then recently the central government statement against homosexual marriage. Can this example be quoted in negative rules? Yes, that is a negative rule. Okay. An example of what conclusion can be. That's what I don't want to give you because answers should not be uniform. Okay. So if I give the conclusion, whoever cannot find a creative conclusion will write the same conclusion. The answers will become very uniform. That will kill the optional. Marks will reduce in the optional. Okay. So they will try to give difficult questions, new questions. All these things will happen. That should not be the case. Okay. So basically I am known for spoon feeding. Don't force me to do more spoon feeding. Cross cousin. For example, my daughter, my brother's son are cross cousins. Okay. My daughter, my brother's son are cross cousins. Under Levi-Strauss theory, will mother, aunt, and other female. Any female, your brain, okay? So any female that your brain will recognize as unmarriable is according to the Levi-Strauss theory. Any female your brain recognizes as unmarriable. Okay? Then fine. So that's all for today's class. Thank you all so much. Bye. Good evening.